Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Burney are taking a look at the co-feature at Santa Anita on Saturday. Race number 8 is the Grade 1 Gamely Stakes for fillies and mares on the turf. You can bet the Gamely with your very own DRF Bets account. Here's how you sign up. Go to drf.com/bet and join the Belmont Stakes action in a couple of weeks with free cash. Let's take a look at this field. The complexion of the race has already changed, Matt. I would have thought that the 5 Uni for Chad Brown and Arad Ortiz would have been the favorite. It looks like she's sick. It looks like she is out. It makes this race a little bit more wide open, and I think we should start with one of our favorites. The number 3 Mopatism. Graded stakes winner on the dirt, multiple Grade 1 placed on the dirt, but try and turf for the first time and start number 18. While these Uncle Mo's can turf, I see Bernardini on the bottom, and it makes me worry.
I agree. There's not a lot as far as turf and the family is concerned on the bottom half. And I have to be honest, to me, this is just as much Doug O'Neill and everyone else taking a look at the overall landscape in Southern California on the dirt, saying, I've got to deal with Unique Bella. I've got to deal with Fault. I've got to deal with Paradise Woods if she ever gets back to the form that she once was in. Realistically, I'm third, maybe fourth best down there on the dirt. Well, maybe she can't stand up on the turf, but I think this is just as much about them finding out if she can and opening up a whole new world for her as opposed to just continuously running third or fourth.
A lot of familiar faces in the Gamely, and pardon me if that doesn't get me too excited. We've been saying on the stakes previews and on the race of the days for years now that the fillies and mares in Southern California kind of take turns beating each other. And maybe this will be Madame Dancelot's turn. They shipped her to Churchill Downs last time out. She didn't break very well from the inside post. She was basically last on the rail turning into the stretch, and there's only so much you can do. It looked like she finished with a little bit of interest. I guess getting back to Santa Anita and this distance can help, but she's the kind of filly that doesn't have a lot of speed and kind of is at the mercy of race and pace luck. I do respect her, though.
I agree. I like her a lot. I think she has a major late turn of foot. The problem is she is going to be coming from dead last, but I suppose you can say that about many of the girls in here. If she gets a little bit of pace in front of her, she's going to come with an honest bid. I'm drawing a line through the Churchill race. If you give me an effort like she had 2 starts back, she's a major player.
Madame Stripes finished ahead of Madame Dancelot last time out in the Distaff Turf Mile, but didn't Madame Stripes just have a much better trip? Saving ground in behind the pace setter, getting the jump on Madame Dancelot, turning into the lane, and just kind of finishing evenly, and maybe she was a little bit overmatched. She got her win in the Megahertz 4 starts back. Maybe it's her turn this time around. Got to make up a little bit of ground on Bo Recall, who ran right over the top of her 2-back.
Madame Stripes is one of the more maddening horses for me anyway in Southern California, because when she's bad, she's really not good. And when she's good, she can win a graded stakes race. I don't know which one you're going to get on Saturday. The good one can certainly win. The bad one could run 5th.
Midnight Crossing, the number 2, won the Frankel back in December and since then hasn't won, although she came close to Madame Dancelot 2 starts back in the Santa Ana, and I thought that was a decent race because she did a lot of work pressing the pace setter, Sassy Little Lila, and eventually she took the lead, only to be immediately set upon by Madame Dancelot. It's just that she seems like she's an in-and-outer. She needs to be more forwardly placed, and I'm not sure that's how they're going to ride her.
Yeah, I agree. I think she has to be forward if you want to have any chance of winning this race. But at the same time, even in her best form, when she won that Frankel 4 starts back, that Frankel was a farce as far as the pace is concerned. And I have to be honest, I just don't think she's as good as these girls. We can sit here and say they take turns beating one another, and that's true. But Midnight Crossing, I still don't think she's even as good as the most of these girls.
Let's check out the Timeform US Pace Projector to see if the number 2 Midnight Crossing can get close. And they have her close, but not out there on the lead, sitting in 4th early. Sophie P is actually sitting behind her. I know our friend, the wise old owl Rich Roble, likes Sophie P a little bit, and Sophie P ran in the Royal Heroine, and it wasn't a bad outing considering the layoff, first time North America. You know you're getting a price with this kind of horse.
Yeah, inoffensive, I thought, that debut here in the States. Now you get Kent DeSormo up. If she moves forward 10 points, she's right there at the wire, and again, at a giant number.
Let's take a look at the horse on the lead, and that is the number 7 Hawksmoor. As we take a look at our top selections for this year's Grade 1 Gamely Stakes, I like Hawksmoor a little bit in this spot. You like Bo Recall, who's coming from the back of the pack. Let's talk a little bit about Hawksmoor, because I really want to hear your opinion on the Dahlia. That was a race. Yeah, that was a race where Hawksmoor was making her seasonal debut. You could argue she was short off the layoff. You could see that the Timeform US color coding was red, and she was chasing a fast pace. But she was also chasing a 100-to-1 shot on the lead. And it took her a while to make the front. Were you disappointed that she didn't finish that race off? I know she lost by a nose. But are you disappointed she didn't finish that race off at odds on?
Yeah, very much so. But I guess it's sort of and Arnaud Delacour I trust, and it almost feels like, again, if you're coming right here to a grade 1 after that effort, to me, it almost feels like maybe that was nothing more than a means to an end. And they said, you know what, we're probably still supposed to win, but it's not a disaster if we don't. I thought she ran well enough where if you think that she just needed that as a tightener, you can get her ready to go and she can win in a spot like this. Again, as you made mention earlier, these girls in Southern California, they take turns beating one another. And when the fresh face shows up, more often than not, it's good enough to win. I was disappointed in the Dahlia, but I'm going to almost take the positive side of it if you can when you lose at 1-5. I think it was probably just one to get her tightened up and ready to go, and now we're going to see the true Hawksmoor on Saturday.
And that's the argument I'm hoping for, is that the fresh face in Southern California, she tried Southern California in the matriarch. She got beat by another fresh face, trained by Chad Brown and Off Limits. She ran really well that day. You scored out with Bo Recall. Your faith was finally rewarded last time out in the Royal Heroine. But let me be honest, this horse fired. She came widest and fastest in the stretch, and she came like a car in the lane.
She really did, and it at least made me feel good that that's what I thought I had seen early as a 3-year-old, and it just didn't seem like it was panning out for one reason or another. I started to lose faith when they ran the American Oaks and she was terrible, and then they cut her all the way back to 6.5, and I said, hey, maybe she just can't run. The way that she ran in that Royal Heroine, not only did she finish fast, it's a very odd scenario. You can go into Formulator and break it down incrementally. Her third quarter was actually faster than her final quarter. She went 22.75 for the third quarter and 22.84 for the final quarter. She kicked home like a freight train. Now, perhaps that's what she's wanted all along, a flat mile. I still think she's going to be able to get out to 9 furlongs and not have an issue here. You brought up the pace. If the pace doesn't materialize, her and Madame Dancelot, both owned by Slam Dunk Racing, they're probably going to be up against it. I'm hopeful that she can stay relatively close. Flavien Prat can wait and time it right. Because I agree with you. If she finishes the way she finished in the Royal Heroine, she'll be right there at the wire.
I think the confidence boost she got from that last start might be all she needs to propel herself into a little bit of a winning streak, because Simon Callan was not afraid to test this horse last year. Grade 1 after grade 1 after grade 1 after grade 1, and she ran well in several of those races. The cut back to 6.5, that's not her game unless she gets a blazing pace. Last time out in that grade 2, it worked out very, very well. Maybe she's ready to go on a run. Give me numbers. You might get a playable price on Bo Recall to win.
Yeah, I'm really torn here because the pace is going to be such a key factor. So I can basically swap my second and third choices. I've got Bo Recall on top, and then I'm torn between the 1 Madame Dancelot and the 7 Hawksmoor. You could put them either way. Probably more realistically, it's 7-1, but I went 1-7.
I'm going to go with Hawksmoor, fresh face, controlling speed, and hope that I could hold Bo Recall off late, because I think she's the main danger. I'm going 7, 6, 8, and 1 in the Grade 1 Gamely Stakes, race number 8 at Santa Anita. Again, you can play the Gamely with your new DRF Bets account. Go to drf.com/bet and sign up for DRF Bets. Approximate post time for the Gamely, race number 8 at Santa Anita on Saturday is 4 o'clock Pacific. Good luck.